The buzzword of the moment is undoubtedly blockchain. Blockchain is a shared, unchangeable ledger that makes it easy for a business network to record transactions and keep track of assets. An asset can be something you can see or something you can't. A blockchain network can be used to track and trade almost anything of value. This reduces risk and saves money for everyone involved. Each block includes transaction information, a timestamp, and a cryptographic hash of the one before it. The timestamp demonstrates that the transaction data was there at the moment the block was produced. They effectively form a chain, with each new block linked to the ones before it since each block contains information about the one before it. Thus, once a transaction has been recorded, it cannot be undone without also undoing all subsequent blocks, making blockchain transactions irreversible. Here are 8 things you should know about blockchain technology. Number 8. Blockchain is not Bitcoin. The term blockchain is now virtually synonymous with Bitcoin. The reason for this is that the launch of Bitcoin was the catalyst that introduced blockchain technology to the mainstream. That was back in 2008 when it happened. At that specific juncture in time, the function of the blockchain was to act as a public ledger for recording Bitcoin transactions. However, since that time, a growing number of digital currencies have been introduced. Blockchain technology is being used by each of these cryptocurrencies in order to process and record their transactions. Ethereum, Dogecoin, and Litecoin are some examples of additional cryptocurrencies that can be used in addition to Bitcoin. Number 7. Blockchain is a decentralized database. A blockchain can be thought of as a distributed ledger that records information. On the other hand, rather than being kept by a single organization, this particular ledger is kept by each and every participant in the network. The database is not under the control of any one institution or person. Because it is decentralized, it is extremely unlikely that there will be a data leak. Users using blockchain do not need to be concerned about the use that is being made of their personally identifiable information because they are in possession of the data. The idea of decentralization is not a recent one. When developing a technological solution, developers will often take into consideration one of 3 basic network architectures: centralized, distributed, or decentralized. While distributed ledger technologies frequently make use of decentralized networks, a blockchain application cannot simply be classified as either being decentralized or not being decentralized by itself. Instead, decentralization is more of a sliding scale that should be applied to all areas of an application that uses blockchain technology. Greater and more equitable service can be accomplished by decentralizing the administration of an application's resources as well as access to those resources. There are often certain drawbacks associated with decentralization, such as a reduced transaction throughput, but, in an ideal world, these drawbacks are more than compensated for by the increased stability and service levels that result from decentralization. Number 6. Blockchain can process transactions faster. What exactly takes place when payment is processed through a conventional banking system? The transaction will not be executed until several days have passed, particularly if it crosses international borders. Don't let the fact that you have to pay the bank some processing fees slip your mind. The peer-to-peer transaction model is made possible by blockchain technology, which does away with the need for financial institutions to function as the transaction's middleman. Peers conduct transactions, which are then checked and approved by the distributed ledger. Because of this, transactions are performed considerably more quickly and efficiently, saving you money because you do not have to pay any fees to intermediaries. Number 5. Blockchains are immutable. One of the primary characteristics of Bitcoin and blockchain technology is immutability. It is impossible for any entity to alter, change, or falsify anything stored on the network thanks to immutable transactions. Immutability allows for a high level of data integrity because every past transaction may be audited at any point in time. Public blockchains' immutability can improve the current system of trust and auditing. Due to how much easier or redundant it is to check information, it can cut down on the time and expense of audits. The record of a transaction in a blockchain only becomes irreversible once it has been successfully completed and validated. There is no way for anyone to undo the recorded transaction and start over. Each successive block in the chain is connected to the one that came before it. In order to modify one block, you must first modify the block that came before it and then the block that came before that one. This is an impossible undertaking. Transactions made on the blockchain benefit from this increased level of safety. Number 4. Blockchains are highly transparent. The transactions that take place on the blockchain are open to the public. The information that is kept in the distributed ledger is accessible to anyone who wants it. As a result of the fact that anybody can view the transactions, the blockchain has very minimal need for governing legislation. Transactions on the blockchain are much simpler to audit when they are open to public scrutiny. Additionally, it lowers the likelihood of fraud occurring. Number 3. Blockchain transactions can be private or public. You have the option of keeping the details of any transaction you make on the blockchain either public or private. When a transaction is open to the public, anyone who possesses a computer and is connected to the internet is able to view it. You also have the option to make the transaction confidential. A private transaction is one that can only be accessed by those individuals that you have specifically invited to take part in it. When using a public blockchain, those who are participating can remain anonymous. However, when using a private blockchain, it is possible that the identity of those who are participating must be divulged. Number 2. Blockchain is open source. The software that underpins blockchain is open source. This indicates that there are no restrictions placed on the general public's access to it. Anyone is able to access, make changes to, and distribute blockchain code. Using blockchain software, anyone can construct their own apps at their own discretion. Blockchain technology makes it possible for you, the person reading this, to create your own app. What are some of the reasons open source software is so vital to blockchain? At first look, it may seem reasonable to be concerned that this would render the technology vulnerable. Nevertheless, in practice, the fact that it is open source contributes to both the protection of the technology and the maintenance of that all-important transparency. Blockchain as a service, which is built on the free and open source Hyperledger fabric, was recently introduced by IBM. Because this new service gives consumers the ability to establish their own private blockchain networks, it makes it possible for nearly anyone to engage in financial transactions. It is true that IBM has included additional security layers in order to make it more acceptable to businesses, but it was the first open source initiative that was responsible for bringing together the necessary talents and ideas in order to make it possible. Number 1. Blockchain technology is here to stay. The implementation of blockchain technology is not something that can be written off as a passing trend anytime soon. It won't go away anytime soon. The implementation of blockchain technology in a variety of business sectors is gaining momentum. The banking and financial industries are undergoing fundamental shifts as a direct result of the introduction of blockchain technology. The healthcare industry, the transportation industry, the real estate market, the art world, and cybersecurity are just some of the many fields that are being revolutionized by ideas based on blockchain technology. Many people believe that the blockchain will be the most revolutionary innovation in technology in our lifetime. Blockchain technology will entail the loss of some employment, but it will also generate new career opportunities for people who are prepared to adapt. The fact of the matter is that you cannot dismiss the potential of blockchain technology, nor can you stop it from developing. Spend some time getting familiar with and educated on blockchain technology. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. Make sure you hit subscribe button and check my other videos about the latest tech in 2023 in the description below.